And welcome back to the Flow Sports Fix on this Tuesday evening, and a reminder about our Flow Sports Facebook page. If you haven't checked it out, then go to it, like it, follow it. Follow Flow Sports today. You'll get scores, previews and significant moments of interest, videos. You'll see it all there. Flow Sports on Facebook. Make sure you follow it today. Time to look at some local football with the Flow Man, some upsets and some big wins to start with.
Barossa, Light and Gawler, we had two relative upsets and two big wins. The first of the big wins was when Nuri got up and completely throttled their opposition, Freeling, in a very one-sided match. It went the way of Nuri with a 28-goal scoreline, 28-21, 189 to beat Freeling 3-7-25. Bentley booted a big bag of goals there. The other one-sided match was when Kapunda played Barossa Districts and they won 20 goals 6, 126 to beat the Barossa Districts 11-8-74. Also, though, this was an upset. Gawler Central travelled up to Anguston and won 18-14, 122 to 15-9-99. And I actually had a word with one of the players in that side, and he said to me that he thought that even it surprised the players that they got over the line and convincingly in the end over another of the top sides in Anguston. The final match was where Williston kicked 17-14, 116 to beat Tanunda 8-5-53. And I reckon Williston are emerging in their home ground as very much being a home ground favourite. They certainly did the job against the highly rated Tanunda on the weekend. Let's move now to football on the Yorke Peninsula and a draw on the Kernewick-Luenda weekend. 9-9 apiece between Kadina and Wallaroo. I suppose it's probably apt that it occurred that way. Pascaville beat Ardrossan comfortably 15-13 to 7-4, while it was a good win for the CMS Crows 18-17 to beat the Central Yorke Cougars 6 goals 9, and that was an 80-point margin. Gee, the Central Yorke Cougars are having a very inconsistent season. Butte are again emerging as another finalist with a big win over Moonta, 14-14-98 to 5-10-40. Over to Adelaide Plains now, round 6 action. Malala thrashed Hamley Bridge 26-14 to 4 goals 4. So a very one-sided affair there for Malala. We expect them to play well. Montgomery with 6 and the big boogeyman Angus Brueggemann booted 5 goals. In other matches, Hummocks Watchman Eagles 21-22, 148 beat United 10-5-65. And gee, poor old Long Plains are struggling away this year, but a good win by the Hummocks Watchman Eagles, and I think most of their players got onto the score sheet in the end. Their leading scorers were 3 goal kickers in a big win, so well done to them to mix it around. It was a win to Balaclava 16-13, 109 to Virginia 9-2-56, while Two Wells 19-21, 135 beat Angle Vale 11-5-71, and that certainly burst the bubble for Angle Vale, who've been in very good form in recent weeks. Into the Northeastern football, and North Clare beat BBH 20 goals 10, 130 to 11-7-73. The Rams certainly tried hard, but no match for the Roosters. While in this game, the big upset in terms of the result, maybe not in terms of the winner, but the scoreline, BSR 19-13, 127. Way too good for RSMU. The Hawks 7-2-44. That is 32 scoring shots to 9, and that was the top two sides effectively playing. BSR well served by Moller with 5, and Haasma and Cousins, their better players. It was Michaelani with 3, and Jordan for RSMU played well. This was an absolute beauty. The match of the round it turned out to be when the Southern Saints beat Minman in a thriller 8-6-54 to 7-7-49 at Robertstown, and well done to the Saints. It keeps them in that top 4 hunt. They'll certainly be pretty happy about this win, beating one of their adversaries, the nearby Minman. It was 4 goals to Justin Hardy leading the way, a big recruit for them this year, and Lorna, that's Brad Lorna, was their best player. Winders with 3 goals for Minman, and Riggs, the ruckman, was their better player. Finally, on the look at Northeastern football, and it was a win to South Clare. It was actually a win to Blyth Snowtown, 12-9-81 to South Clare, 10-11-71. And so those two are the bottom two sides, and that means that Blyth Snowtown get themselves off the bottom and they can sign South Clare to that location. Let's get now to football in the Riverland, and these were all one-sided games. The home teams won, and all won convincingly. Loxton, the top side, beat Barmera Monash 10-10-70 to 4-12-36. It was Renmark 17-13-115, beating Berry 6-4 Footy, while Waikerie 12-16-88 beat Loxton North 3-7-25. While in independent football, Paringa 19 goals 21-135, beating the poor old Blanchetown Swanreach 1 goal 4-10. They got the 1 goal, but about after that, there wasn't too much happening against the Swannies there for the Redbacks. A big win for Cobb Dogler, one that they will cherish because it's their third win in about 2,000 games. It's their second win in a row in a week. So how does that work? It just happens to be what happens in country football. Cobby got up and kicked 38 goals, 22 to 150 to thrash poor old Brownswell 4 goals, 3, 27. And Gilgan, he was the scorer of the week. Gilgan kicked 18 goals out of the 38 to be a star. It was Eleftherides who was the best player for them, whilst it was Kershaw and Victor both booting 2 goals for Brownswell, and Hampel was their best player. Other match there, Wonka 13-11-89 beat Ramco 8-10-58. What was a really good response to the loss from Wonka the week before. Ramco, bit of a surprise there, going down by 5 goals.
A surprise indeed, and those surprises continue as the Flowman tells us all about an 8-point game.
And it was another particularly good performance by Ararat. They got up and won 12-8-80 to beat the Horsham Saints 11-7-73. It's kind of what they call an 8-point game, that one, because both clubs were roundabouts and looking maybe for that 5th place on the ladder. In other games, Dimboola showed why they're right up at the top with a big win over the Warwick Eagles. 20 goals, 19, 139 to the Eagles 5-7-37. The Eagles had shown a little bit of form in recent weeks to be competitive, but in this match they were blown away by a much better Roos side with Lant and his goals, 5 of them, being the best player, and Dane Stewart again being a good player for the Warwick Eagles. It was a particularly good performance by the Southern Mallee Giants, and they were too good in the end for the Horsham D's. 16-12, 108. They got up over the D's 7-9-51. And kicking goals again is what they've been able to do in the last couple of weeks, with Dinham this time leading the way with 6. Cook, who booted 4, he was the star last week. This time it was Dinham. Lyndon, their best player. Also along the way, Stewart played well, and White was pretty good too. And in the reserve grade, the Southern Mallee Giants were able to get along and again play some pretty good football to come up with a win. While in the 14-year-old bracket, they didn't get a win, the Southern Mallee Giants, but they did keep the Horsham D's to 3 quarters before they were mercy ruled. Finally, in senior football in Wimmer, and emerging as a league leader and a favourite for the flag, as they have been since the start of the season, Minyat Matoa 16-14, 110, too good for Stawell, 5-14, 44. And Stawell, of course, were undefeated before this match. Ison with 7 goals was the best player, Petering very good too. Ica for Stawell with a couple. Williams okay, but in the end they weren't any match for the Minyat Matoa side, who go to the top of the ladder, which has been a terrific performance by them, as they have really shown that they are going to be a side that's going to be hard to beat. They're followed by the Southern Mallee Giants. Both are 4-1, and then we have Stawell at 5-1. They've had the extra game that they've played. Dimboola at 4-1, and the Horsham Saints 2-3. Horsham 2-3. Ararat are 3-3, but they have played the extra game. Okay, let's now go to Horsham District football. And it was another good round, and emerging as the league leader, the one to beat Narrajua Quantong, 12-12-84, beat Harrow Balmoral 12-11. 83. It doesn't get much closer than that. And it sends Narrajua Quantong to the top of the table. They're percentage clear now of Rapanya. Rapanya also had a particularly good game. They beat Kalkia, the other top side, 13-15, 93 to 7-10, 52. So Rupp certainly playing well and in second place. Japarrat Rainbow beat Conniva Leord 19-11, 125 to 7 goals, 850. And the Cougars, after that win the week before to start their season off, they certainly met a much better side in Japarrat Rainbow at Rainbow. Ben Warren, the boy from Norwood, kicked 11 goals for this Storm, and they'd be pretty happy with that. In other matches, it was a good effort from Laharam, 11-12-78, beating Pimpernaya for 58, whilst there was Nadimuck United 24 goals 8, 152. Too good for the poor old Eden Apsley Saints, 8-11, 59. And from here, it's going to be a very long season for the Saints. It was 12 goals to Koenig out of those 24, and he was amongst the better players for Nadimuck. 4 goals to Walker for Edenhope Apsley on the day. So that is a look at Horsham District. Just a couple of notes on the weekend. We'll have a look at Golden Rivers tomorrow, but Nullawil's win over Moolameen, it was 1 versus 2, and they absolutely throttled them. Gee, must be something to say about that league and how Nullawil now are so far and above and away a better side in that competition than all other sides, and one has to ask the question about that in the long term, whether that's good for Golden Rivers. We'll look at those results tomorrow, but also as we talk about that region, Witcherproof Narraport had a meeting on Monday night, and I'm told that it was regarding a vote as to next season and the future of the club. The club was looking at whether or not it would seek a amalgamation with Charlton. We'll get more detail on that. The vote closes, we're told, on Wednesday night, so as that comes to hand, we'll give you an update for it. But certainly some moves happening around the North Central and Mallee part of Victorian football for next season, and we'll keep you updated here on the Sports Fix.
We certainly will. Thank you, Flowman. The Flowman will be back on the Sports Fix on tomorrow's program. We've got a chat with Ellis coming up. We're looking at the English Premier League, the fallout, also the Championship, because there is a $150 million game taking place this weekend. We'll talk about that. But coming up for you next, it is netball time, local netball with Jace the Stat Man.